Welcome to Unplugged, a show created by two college seniors who aspire to have a career in the television industry. Kelly and Kaylee have a passion for sharing the stories and experiences of successful women in various media fields.
And that's exactly what this show is all about. Sit back and grab your favorite cup of coffee as we cover a Q&A and debunk misconceptions.
So can you start off by introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Mary-Lyn Buckley. I'm a reporter currently at News 12 Brooklyn, and I'm from Staten Island, New York.
What made you want to go into the television industry?
So I was actually in college, and one of my professors, Scott Album, he actually told me, I don't think you're challenging yourself enough. Why don't you give TV a try? So I went into the TV studio, did a couple of tries, I guess you can say, actually started hosting my own show, and then from then on out, I started applying to TV internships and actually got accepted. So from there, I just kept going.
Can you walk us through the process of reporting a story?
Sure. So when you first get into a TV station, you really never know what you're going to expect. And I know that sounds a little cliche, but it's true. You walk in and you don't know what you're doing until you're in the door. So you usually go into a meeting with the staff working. Sometimes you're in as early as 3:30 in the morning. That's generally my shift. And you kind of go about the things that happened overnight or over the last couple of hours, or maybe something happening that day that you're going to preview. And then from then on out, they decide who's going to be assigned to what, who you're going to be paired up with, or sometimes you go out solo by yourself with a camera and a tripod. And from there, sometimes the story is, this is what's happening and go cover it. But other times it's, hey, we heard this, go find out. So your job is to really, do the digging sometimes, look around, ask as many questions, and just kind of figure out what's going on. So every day really is different. It could be a short, easy day, or it could be a really long day when you don't know when you're coming home.
Now, obviously working in news, you have a lot of different kinds of stories, and some might be sensitive topics. So how do you handle a difficult story?
So especially now during the times of the coronavirus pandemic, we do deal with a lot of sensitive stories. Sometimes you're meeting people on the worst days of their lives, when they've lost a loved one, when they've maybe gone through a really bad hardship, when their houses have gotten destroyed during a storm. These are moments where these people, you would think the last thing they want to do is be on television and talk to a stranger opening up about the worst situation they've ever been involved with. But you always try to go into the situation, at least I do, with compassion. You're a human first, and then you're a journalist. But you always have to remember you're still a person. So remember, that person is going through something. This is not an act. This is not just a story. This is their life. So you really try to at least connect with them on a personal level first. And then I usually think after doing that and hearing a little bit about their situation, sometimes they're more eager to open up, because sometimes when you do give someone the chance to use their voice, it can really benefit and help them, whether it be, raising awareness about a fundraiser, seeing if someone can help out in the neighborhood, or just, spreading the word so that situation doesn't happen to someone else. So I always think go into the situation with no expectations and just try to really relate to them first.
And looking through your career so far, what is your favorite story that you've ever done?
My favorite story, that is a hard one. I think I would have to say the time I went to Newark Airport and they transformed, I think it was one of maybe Terminal B, into the North Pole. So the plane was full of about 50 children that all had spent almost the entire year in the hospital. Many of them had illnesses, they were sick, some of them had cancer-related illnesses. So basically it was their first plane ride ever. They decided to go on this flight, me included, got my boarding pass and everything, flew for about 45 minutes in the air, and then landed back at Newark Airport. But the kids thought we were in the North Pole. So when they went back into that Terminal B, it was filled with Christmas decorations, presents, Santa Claus, and it was so exciting just to see their reactions on their face, that raw sense of emotion that they were able to share with me. And just getting to witness, that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, all these children, their first time ever on a plane, and the unexpected happened. So that was probably my favorite story.
Now, also looking back at your career so far, what's been the most challenging part? And then on the other hand, what's been the most rewarding part?
Okay. So the most challenging part, I would say, about working in news is definitely the work-life balance. You're working when everyone else is off. So for example, today I'm off Wednesday, Thursdays. That's my weekend every weekend. When everyone else is off Saturday and Sunday, I'm working. Sometimes you get up and you go into work in the middle of the night when everyone's sleeping. So it's getting used to these unusual hours and kind of an unusual lifestyle is what's challenging, and it's hard for people to understand that you're not missing out on your best friend's birthday on purpose, but you're working on a day when everyone else is off. So that can be a bit challenging. But I would say the most rewarding part is I get to go to so many different communities, meet with so many different people that I would have never met before if it wasn't for this job, and really getting a chance to meet strangers every day and have them open up and share their stories with me, share some of their most vulnerable moments with me or some of their best moments. It's just such an honor and a privilege.
Was there ever a time in your career where you faced any adversity because of being a woman in the television industry?
I would say definitely I have been faced with some challenges being a woman in television. I mean, the biggest challenge, or one of them, would definitely be, sometimes nowadays you're going out by yourself. So you're reporting, you're writing, you're shooting on the camera, you're editing in your car, you're putting the entire thing together as just a one-man band. And it can be a challenge when you're the only woman in the room and you're paired up with all of these, veteran newscasters and videographers who have been doing it for years and years and years. And then there's you, who's, I guess, could be looked at as a rookie, doing the entire thing with the same expectations to get that story on TV, make it be as accurate and as good as some of these, veteran guys that have been in the business for so long. But I do have to say, though, the industry is changing, and if you do ask for help, I feel like you always will be given it. But at the same time, even if you're the smallest reporter in the room, always carry yourself with the fact that you have a purpose and that you're there for a reason, and to just be, nice and also be confident, believe in yourself. You wouldn't be given that job if you couldn't handle it.
I love that. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout your entire career?
Whew. That's a tough one. The biggest lesson I've ever learned in my career, I would say one of the biggest lessons is you don't have to know it all, but you do need to be willing to learn. So it's okay if you don't know something. I'm always very honest if I don't know how to do something, or sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to learn. And I think that's what keeps me going, keeps other people going. Most people are genuinely good, and if you ask them for some serious advice or an honest question, 9 times out of 10 they'll give you an honest answer back, and they are willing to help. So I would say that is my best piece of advice, biggest lesson learned. Always be willing to learn every single day. No matter how old you are, there's always something someone else can teach you.
So now I'm gonna hand you a stack of misconceptions.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, misconception number 1. Journalism is an average 9-to-5 job. I wish. No, I'm kidding. But definitely not a 9-to-5 job. I mean, I go into work now at 3:30 in the morning, which means I have to set my alarm clock for about 1:30 in the morning. So probably the most opposite from 9 to 5 you can get. You can be working early mornings, late at night. I mean, it's not unusual to eat dinner at 11 o'clock at night in news. So not 9 to 5. Wish it was, wish it wasn't. It's a, half and half situation for me. All right. Every report is completely scripted. Absolutely not. So most of the time you do write a script, you send it to your producers. They may make some edits, but half of the time when you see reporters on the street, that is them going off of their own memory. So you may have some bullet points that you're trying to remember, some key things to bring up during the report, but it's definitely not scripted. You really have to just go about speaking how you normally speak, being as conversational as possible, and just trying to remember those key points to hit, no matter which way you choose to say it, as long as you get the facts out there. That's what's important, but not scripted. All right, misconception number 3, the last one. Journalists twist everything you say. I would say that's probably the most inaccurate misconception I've read so far. Absolutely not. So our jobs is to report what you actually said. Report the truth. Do not twist the quotes. And the main part about video journalism is showing you what that person said. So I don't even like to even talk about what they're saying. I'm like, listen for yourself. And I play the clip. So twisting words is not going to get you very far in this industry. I would say definitely do not do that. That's maybe my best piece of advice. So, yep, don't do that. But that's all for misconceptions right now. Come back next week for more because they just keep growing by the week in this crazy industry.
Thank you for watching this episode of Unplugged.
We hope you enjoyed watching and finished your coffee along the way. We'll catch you
In our next episode.